For the love of rugby, brought to you by Blackheart, there is a new stout in town, thanks to Brewdog. So Steve Borthwick has named his Six Nations squad ahead of the tournament. So Maritoji's replaced Jamie George as captain. Tom Willis has finally been given an opportunity within the squad. Let's see if he gets an opportunity on the field. Caden Murley is in. Oscar Beard is also in. No room for young Henry Pollock just yet. Ben Spencer misses out, having been in fine form for Bath. My teammate, Ollie Hassel-Collins, also misses out, who's been in fine form on the wing. But it's all about the co-host, the Sheriff, Dan Cole, for the first time in a long time, hasn't made the squad. Made his debut, of course, for England in the Six Nations in 2010. 15 years on, he hasn't made the squad this time around. So, Coley, how are you, mate?
Right now, Ben, I'm shattered because I've been training, but emotionally, I'm all right. Thanks.
That is good. I'm glad you're emotionally all right. And you are shattered, you're right, because I was shattered watching you lads, because basically you had a scrummaging session today, didn't you? And my job was to put the ball in. And I could see that you were desperate for me to slip over because I was doing it in trainers. And you were hoping that we're basically working on striking the ball, good little channel 1 system. I'd run around, get the ball out as quickly as possible. And I could see you were praying that I would stack it as I ran around. Whilst you lads were pushing your absolute testicles off, I was just gallivanting in a hoodie and a pair of trainers, putting the ball in.
There was a slight level of disrespect. You came to a gunfight with a butter knife on your feet, mate.
With a spud gun.
Minimum, I expect moulds, if not studs, for the. I want 21s when you're in the scrum session, mate. So yeah, I did hope you slipped over, and I also hope that you'd slip over into the tunnel and we could just dust you up. But no, no, I don't. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. Yeah, I just I saw you with trainers on. I thought, God, it's risky. But no, yeah, we did scrum today. Yeah, but I'm here. I've survived it, and I'm here.
Good lad. Right, well, Coley, just explain for the listeners and people that don't know how that conversation goes. Obviously, you've known Steve for a very long time, of course, at Leicester and at England prior, then at Leicester and then England again. How does that unfold? Because quite often how it's done in the past is almost no news is good news. When you don't hear from the England coach, often that means that you're going to be in the squad. But when his number pops up, it can often be, oh dear, that might mean I'm not in.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much. I won't go into the details of the conversation too much. Obviously, it's between me and Steve. But yeah, I had a missed call. I was doing my fatherly duties on Monday night, and saw I had a missed call, so I called Steve back. And at the time, I thought when you get a missed call, it's like, he's either going to make me captain or I'm not in the squad. And no, I thought as soon as you get a phone call for Steve, it's a bit like, this is probably not good. But we spoke, and he just basically said he didn't envision me being in the match day 23, and he didn't then want to make me hold a tackle bag for the Six Nations. And I thought that's actually I'm valid, fairly respectful in that regard. And yeah, no, I get his point and where he's going, and England have to move on and get younger and evolve, and that's the case. And I've known that for a while. Yes, it probably hurt when you hear it straight away, because instantly that's it. Because it's not like I'm going to be, I'm 25 and you get another chance down the line, and pretty much once I'm out, I'm going to be out. But then after being sulky for 5-10 minutes, you look back and you're like, I've got 118 caps. I've been to 4 World Cups. I'm blowing my own trumpet at the minute. But my career could have been over at 20. I thought my career was over in 2015 when we got dumped out of our own World Cup. I thought it was over in, and say Steve and Eddie picked us up after that. I thought it was over in 2019 when I didn't get picked, and I was at peace with that. And 2023 is brilliant. And so, you're a bit more, what's the word? Reflective, and you're just fortunate of, I'm not going to, if this is the end of my career, I'm not going to probably officially retire, because it's a bit like I've said before, you're closing the gate after the horse has bolted. I'm just not going to get picked. It sounds a bit sort of like, oh, it's all about me if I retire, but it's like, no one cares. There's other things to focus on. But you just sort of reflective, and I know some people are quite angry about the end of their international careers. I'm not. I know it's coming at some point, and the career I've had, I've loved every minute of it. Not loved every minute of it. It's been something that's been tough and shit, but I've learned so much, because you actually learn stuff in the shit parts. And yeah, no, I wouldn't swap my career for anything. And I'm very fortunate and very grateful for everyone that's helped me along the way. And if it is the end, it's the end. Like, but it's not, I'm not going to be bitter and angry about it. I'm just going to turn up to training and keep going until Leicester tell me you're done. So, yeah, that's it really, Ben. It's quite, in some regard, you sort of balance the emotional, logical side of things. Emotionally, you're sort of like, oh, it's rejection, and you'd love to be part of the Six Nations again, because it's fucking brilliant being in that team environment, being in the Six Nations, being part of something, potentially also winning it, how good that feels. But you also logically like, yeah, I'm not going to make the next World Cup. There's young guys who need chances. You don't know how good these young guys are until they play. They need to play. You need to get them exposure. And England need to move forward. So that's my thoughts. I say that the sort of emotion is 25%, but it's outruled by the logical of the 75 of actually, if England go and win the Six Nations, brilliant. I look forward to watching it. So yeah, that's my long-winded way of saying I'm all right.
Mate, very reflective. You sound content, and you're right. I think the more, like, having experienced stepping away from the international game, I think it's over time you do reflect even more coldly, and you actually realise it's only till you proper have a chance of what you have accomplished. And you've been incredible, mate, to play tight head, like in that position, that amount of times for your club, country, incredible. And it sounds like, mate, you've been reflective, honest, and as you say, amazing, really, to be fair, the way that you've been able to just reflect on it. And I guess the thing is as well, things change quickly. Like, I think from Steve's point of view, I'm assuming that if you don't wish it upon anyone, but if there's something that does happen this weekend or during the tournament, like, he can still call upon you, mate, with all your experience. And, if there's a Grand Slam decider in Wales, in Cardiff, mate, there is a man that is a Grand Slamming try scorer in 2016. And also you kind of, if you are needed at some point, mate, like, you don't want to close that door, because you may be, because things can change really quickly. You can be injuries and things like that. And at times, mate, you could slot straight back in. Should you be needed?
You keep yourself fit, because we've got games to play at Leicester, and I know there's going to be a break in the season coming up, but like, it's not like I'm just going to, you can't just put your feet up and smoke a cigarette and, because that's not the way we're wired. That's not the way we do things. So you're going to keep yourself fit. And, if I owe a lot to Steve professionally and the rest of it, and, if he needs me, I will be available for him in England. It's not like I have that kind of, what's the word, respect for Steve, that if I'm needed in any regards, in regards to like, oh, could you look at this scrum from training session? Yeah, I will. And I'll always try and help in however way I can, especially Steve in England, you try and help in however. So that's, the way I look at it. And yeah, it's, but, there's not going to be injuries in England. They're going to go and smash Six Nations.
I recorded actually an episode on YouTube, reaction to the squad straight off the bat. So if you're listening, please subscribe to that. We had loads of nice comments flooding in, and I'd like to read out one to you, Coley, if I may, please. We had a message from John Ridley. Whilst I'm sure Dan Cole neither needs or cares about internet comments from randos like me, Dan Cole will forever be an England legend. I do hope he gets a return to Twickenham one day. Mate, there were so many nice comments that we could read out, but there's one in particular, and I think everyone recognises your contribution to English rugby, and you are an absolute bloody legend.
I would say thank you, John Ridley, for your kind comments, and everyone else. Yeah, as I say, it's one probably you don't go looking for comments, but I say when you get like a couple of text messages, probably once the news is announced and stuff like that, you get a couple of text messages of people you have either played with or been coached by and stuff, and checking in. And it's probably those times when you appreciate again the it's not about sort of what's going on, but you appreciate the people that text you, and they've actually taken time out of the day to text you and say, hope you're okay, and seeing if you're all right. And that's when you realise that, say, rugby and the bonds it gives you and the people that you meet and that kind of stuff, you appreciate those friendships you make. Again, being reflective. And I say people that, have taken time out of the day to be, to write something like that. John Ridley, yeah, I appreciate it very much. So thank you, John.
Coley, thanks so much for coming on, mate, for the love of rugby. So hit the subscribe button, make sure you do that, then you'll be notified because we'll have plenty of more insights and videos throughout the whole of the Six Nations, and we look forward to you joining us as we give you all the information we know and hopefully explain things to you. So thanks so much for listening, thanks for joining, and Coley, I'll see you tomorrow for a hug.
Thank you, Ben.